tonight, guilty. After less than 2 hours of deliberations, a Polk County jury found rapper Kevin Gates guilty of battery. Gates was caught on this video kicking a female fan in the chest at a concert at Rumors nightclub back in 2015. Jen Holloway joins us live from outside that club in Lakeland. And Jen, what's the reaction there tonight?
Well, we're far away from the club for good reason. Nobody here wanted to talk on camera, and we were very politely asked to leave the vicinity of this club. Now, the situation started back in 2015 with particular cell phone video. This video showing rapper Kevin Gates kicking a fan when she reaches for his leg. He, along with his high-profile attorney, Jose Baez, claimed self-defense. But the jury of 6 women just didn't buy it.
We, the jury, find as follows as to count 1. The defendant is guilty of battery as charged in the information. So we say this 26th day of October.
The trial itself lasted only 1 day. Again, 6 women serving on that jury. Gates is now going to have to pay court costs and fines as well. And keep in mind, he was a convicted felon before this trial.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wake Up Report. 6 months in jail and 1 year probation for rapper Kevin Gates for kicking a tiny little girl in the chest for grabbing at his leg at a concert, if you want to call that a concert, and if you want to call what Kevin Gates does rap music. That's another story, though. But isn't this the man that, if you do something to my family, I'm going in on you. If you touch my wife or you touch my kids. He said something like that back during the, I think it was the Alton Sterling shooting or something like that. So you'd think a guy like this, who loves his family as much as he says he loves his family, would be a little bit sensitive when it comes to attacking children. What is going to happen to you by her grabbing your leg? I mean, you're up there for the attention, right? Right? So, the girl grabs your leg and that's how you respond to somebody, whether you tell them to stop grabbing your leg or not. But this is the result, from supporting entertainers who are not entertainers, from supporting thugs and criminals who just pick up microphones, turn some music on, and decide to call themselves entertainers. And I do not understand or know what part of Islam you're from, Mr. Gates, but or maybe, I don't know when he converted. But typically, I guess when you do go to jail, you either have to convert over to Islam or, you got to join somebody for survival, I guess, because there's a lot more to kicking grown men around in jail than it is to kicking little girls, apparently. Those grown men, after all, will kick you back, and they will do more than kick you back. But what's the problem? You're going home, right? Isn't that what you talk about in the music? Don't you talk about, I'll go, that's what you said. I'll go to jail for my family. I'll go to jail for this. I'll be ready to do this. I'm ready to ride or die and all that stuff. The tattoos and the gold grill mouth and all that kind of mess. And you're going home. What's the problem? You're going on vacation for 6 months, and then you'll be on probation for a year after you get out. And, odds on favorites, you'll violate the probation while you're out, because we know black men just cannot control their anger and their thuggish, hoodlum, hood rat ways. So, and then you'll wind up going back home for what? 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? What's the problem? And then, of course, his wife goes on a tirade on social media and talks about, you've taken this man away from his family, and you've, so these girls lied in court and all this kind of stuff. And isn't it always something that these big, bad, rough, tough, blow-up city blocks, hood rat, balls out, hardcore, you always run to that white man to get you out of trouble. Please, Mr. White Man, get me out of trouble. Please, Mr. White Lawyer. You don't even go to black lawyer, because you probably think black lawyers are incompetent and they're not going to do a good job. So you run to the very person that you call a racist and a pig to get you out of trouble, because you can't stay out of trouble. I really find that quite entertaining. Why don't you get up on stage and rap about that? The girl is so small, her head barely gets above the counter when she's testifying, and you kick somebody like that in the chest. Dude, really? Now, despite all of that, I say let Kevin Gates out of jail. Kevin Gates should not have to serve his 6 months, and Kevin Gates should not have to do any probation whatsoever. Why? Because you idiots, you morons, you support these type of people, and it's like a rabid animal. When it turns on you, you wonder why. And then what you want to do is, when you're in the ocean and you get attacked by a shark that belongs in the ocean, you want to kill the shark. When you're out in the woods somewhere and you get attacked by a grizzly bear who belongs out in the wild, well, you want to kill the grizzly bear instead of saying, why didn't I keep my dumb ass out of the ocean? Or why didn't I keep my dumb ass out the woods where grizzly bears and sharks and other dangerous creatures are, because they will attack me at some point, and I want to respond to the attack by killing all of them. All of you that support these thuggish, ignorant, stupid gangster rappers, you deserve exactly what you get. For all of you who pay your money to go see people curse and rant and scream and do everything on stage except entertain, you deserve exactly what you get. As a matter of fact, why don't you just pay to get shot at? Why don't you just pay to get kicked in the chest, punched in the face by your favorite gangster hood rapper? That is basically what you're paying for. He gave you exactly what Kevin Gates is. He gave you exactly who Kevin Gates is, and why are you sitting in court trying to prosecute Kevin Gates when you know good and doggone well, if I go see a person like Kevin Gates, I'm more than likely going to get my ass kicked. I'm going to get kicked in the chest. I'm going to get shot at. I'm going to get stampeded and trampled on, because some type of drama is going to break out between me, the crowd, and that hood rat piece of no talent garbage on stage. You all support this stuff. You show up for it. And what do you expect when it turns on you? It is the equivalent of somebody taking a shit in a plate, giving it to you, and you eat it right there in front of that person. That's all this stuff is. Now, according to the news and other sources, Kevin Gates tried to use Florida's stand your ground law as an excuse for assaulting this girl. Nothing. And I gotta follow up on a piece. The piece that I did on voting. In that piece, there was a clip I found on the internet of this guy talking about and education is not important. It's part of that same clip. If you vote, you're stupid and all this kind of stuff. But the evidence of a lack of an education is quite abundant among ignorant people. But to use a stand your ground law, for those of you who don't know, I think in Florida, in most southern states, the stand your ground law basically says if a person attacks you, then you have the right to basically stand your ground, and you can meet that attacker with equal or deadly force. So if I attack somebody in Florida and I don't have a weapon and that person has a weapon, that person has the right to pull out that weapon and shoot me. But my life, it has to be such that I am in so much danger that I feel that my life is about to be taken, and therefore I have no other alternative but to stand my ground against this attacker. Brother, the stand your ground law does not apply to little teenage girls grabbing at your leg while you're performing on stage at a concert. That is like absolutely ridiculous, man. And just, oh my God, maybe during your time in jail, read some books, because apparently, jail college and jail high school is where black men get more education than they do when they're out in the regular world. Now, Kevin Gates says that after he does his time, and I guess during his parole, he is going to retire from music, thank God, to spend more time with his family. And hey, nothing wrong with that. If you feel you got to spend more time with the wife and the kiddies and all that kind of stuff, no problem. However, you still have to earn a living. So I would suggest you might want to give the NFL a call. The Miami Dolphins or New Orleans Saints, I believe that's where you're from, might be interested in your punting skills for next season. This is KTM and the Wake Up Report saying think a little bit. It will do wonders for you.